In this video, I'm gonna show you how to play Demon's Souls on PC with the best settings. In one of the recent RPCS3's performance update, Demon's Souls was a game that benefited a lot. On low-end PCs, the FPS pretty much doubled. You can play online as well. I'll show you how to set up, and there's a mod collection that adds several new things like new areas to worlds, new and retextured weapons, new armors, and quality of life upgrades. So this video will cover everything to play Demon's Souls on PC. We'll begin by downloading RPCS3, the PS3 emulator. I'll put the link down below, and here on the main page, you just have to click here on the download button, and then you download the emulator for the operational system you're using. In my case, I'm using Windows, so I'm gonna click on this one and then place it on the folder of your preference on your PC. These are the recommended and minimal specs of the emulator, and it's ideal that your PC has at least the recommended specs here, especially on the CPU. This emulator is very demanding on that. The emulator will come in a zipped file, so you're gonna need either WinRAR or 7-zip to extract it, and I would personally recommend using 7-zip. I'll put the link of that on the description of the video, and when you install that right here on the file, you're gonna click on it with the right button and then select 7-zip here and click on extract here. And you can go ahead and delete the original one. We're not gonna need that anymore. And to begin, you just have to double click here on rpcs3.exe to start the installation, and here there's a few options if you want to create a desktop shortcut and stuff. I would not recommend using the dark theme yet, so I'm gonna turn this off, and then just click here on do not show again, and I have read the quick start guide, and then just select here on continue, and there you go, we have RPCS3 on our computer. First, we have to install the PS3 firmware on the emulator, and we can get that on the official Sony website. This is the place right here. The link will be down below, and on this page you want to scroll down here to the bottom a little bit, and where it says how to update PS3 system software, you want to click here on update using a computer, and then you just click on download PS3 update and place the file on the same emulator folder. If for some reason the download doesn't start when you click on it, then you have to click on it with the right button on your mouse and then select copy link address, and then paste the link on your browser and press enter. Then the download will start. Now back on the emulator folder, I already downloaded my firmware here. It is this file, the PS3 update. Now you want to go to the emulator, and right here click on file and click on install firmware. It should open the emulator folder by default, so now you just have to double click here on the PS3 update, and it will install the firmware on RPCS3. Click here and do not show again, and then click OK, and now it will install these PPU modules, but this shouldn't take long. And while you wait for it to finish, this will be a good time to subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on this video. I would really appreciate it. Now with this part finished, I want you to go back to the folder where you drop all the files here of the emulator, and you're gonna notice this folder here called games that was already created by the emulator. So double click on it, and this is where you're gonna be dropping the game files. And one of the ways that the emulator can detect a game is having the files inside a folder like this. You're gonna have files exactly like this. And ideally, to get the game, you should dump your copy of your game into your PC, or you can find it online. But this is something that I can't do here on the video because it is against YouTube's guideline. If you show on your video how to get a game or post links or anything like that, the video will be deleted from YouTube. And they are really enforcing that as of lately, so I'm not gonna run the risk here. And to install the expanded mod collection, it has to be the American version of Demon's Souls, by the way. So if you want to play that, make sure you get the American version of the game. Now with the files in place, you're gonna go back to the emulator, and you're gonna click here on File, and then click on Add Games. It should open the emulator folder by default, so now you're just gonna double click on the games folder, click on the game folder once, and then click on Select Folder, and just like that, the game will appear here. You can also restart the emulator as well for this part. If the game is in the folder and on the right format, the emulator will find it. Now let's enable the custom patches of the emulator for this game, and this is required to not only give us better performance, but also to unlock the FPS, for example. And for that, you have to click on the game with the right button. This menu will show up, and then you're gonna click here on Manage Game Patches. When you open this for the first time, you're gonna get a message asking you to download the latest patches. Go ahead and click on yes. I already did this before, so it's not showing up for me. And when you do that, the game is gonna show up like this, and then you just click on this little arrow, and then click on the game version, and then you're gonna see the custom patches. One patch that helps with the performance is this one here, Disable Dynamic Exposure. So go ahead and enable this one. You can also disable motion blur if you feel like it. I personally like turning that off. Also a patch to skip the intro videos if you want to go straight into the menu. This one is great. And also here to unlock the FPS for the game. There's also one patch here for aspect ratio, and this one is in case you have a ultra wide monitor, for example, you can change it right here. So unless you have a monitor like that, you don't have to enable this one. And when you're done, click here on apply and then save. Now we're gonna do the configuration to play this online, and we're gonna start by creating the account on the RPCN network. And for that, you're gonna click here on configuration and then click here on RPCN. This window will show up, and you're gonna start by clicking here on account, and then here you're gonna click on create account. And first you're going to create your username account right here. So select the name that you want to use and then click on OK. And here you're gonna type the password that you want to use, of course, then click on OK. And lastly, you're gonna type the email that you have so you can receive the token code, so you can access the online functionalities of RPCN and play the game online. Click on OK, and this window will show up saying that you have created your account, but you need the token code on your email to activate your account. So head over to your email inbox, and you're gonna receive a message exactly like this one that says your token for RPCN and then the code right here. So obviously you're gonna copy your code as such and paste your token right here and then select OK. Now the username that you have created is going to show up right here. So lastly, just click here on test account to make sure that everything worked fine. And there you go. You're gonna see this message here saying your account is valid. You're good to go now. So click on OK, and you can close this down too. Now we're gonna do the configuration for the game server. And for that, you're gonna click here on the game with the right button and then click here on create custom configuration. This window will show up, and you're gonna click on the network tab right here. And the settings we have to change are here on network status, change it to connected. Keep the DNS server on this one. And here on IP host switches, you're gonna choose this server right here. I'll put this whole thing on the description of the video, so you just have to copy paste it. Do not change the bind address, and here on PSN status, change it from disconnected to RPCN. And also, you're only gonna be playing online with other people using the emulator. You don't get to play with people on the PS3, but the bloodstain messages are shared between both servers. Now we are going to tweak the emulator settings for the best performance in graphics. And once again, click on the game with the right button, but this time you're gonna click here on create custom configuration. And we're gonna start by heading here to the GPU tab. In the first option, right here on renderer, make sure that Vulkan is selected here. This is the best renderer here for this emulator, but in case it doesn't show up for you, that means your GPU is a little outdated, and in this case, you're gonna have to select here OpenGL. In this renderer, however, the performance will be much worse. In some cases, you can't even play the game at all because you only get a black screen whenever you start the game. So OpenGL is only if you don't have Vulkan selected here. Right here on the bottom, keep the frame limit at auto. This will unlock the FPS. And here on anisotropic filter, you can change it to 16x. This will make the game look much better, and it has minimal impact on performance. And if you want to increase the game's resolution, you're gonna keep the default resolution here at the recommended 720p. Do not change this one. And you're gonna increase the resolution scale here. You can play all the way to 4K resolution, for example, if your PC can handle that. This is gonna depend on how strong your GPU is, and if you are going to change the resolution scale here to anything other than 100%, you have to change the resolution scale threshold as well. And this one will have to be set to 640 by 640 exactly. You can use your keys on your keyboard to be more precise like this. But that's only if you are going to change the resolution scale, remember that. Also, still here on the GPU tab, click here on Write Color Buffers. Now the next setting is important if you don't have a really good CPU. You're gonna click here on Advanced, and right here where it says maximum number of sparse threads, if you have a CPU that has less than 6 cores and 12 threads, this value here has to be changed to number 3. But that's only if you have a CPU with that configuration, because by doing this, you're gonna get a nice performance increase. In case you don't know how strong your CPU is and you don't know if you should enable this or not, one way you can find this out is by clicking here on the search bar of Windows 10 or 11, and you're gonna type here System Information. You should see this option right here, so click on it. And on this window, you're gonna see your PC specs. We are looking for the processor, so it's right here. In my case, I have a Ryzen 7 5800X, which has 8 cores and 16 threads. This is where you're gonna find the information. Now, my processor is good enough, so I don't have to change here the number of threads. Next, you can also click here on the Emulator tab and disable the Show PPU Compilation Hint, Shader Compilation, and Trophy pop-ups as well. This will disable all the notifications on screen when you are playing the game, and they can be very annoying, especially the PPU compilation hint. Now we are done here, so click on Apply, and then Save Custom Configuration. Now we have to set up the controller. So you're gonna click here on Pads, and this emulator has an automatic mapping function. So if you don't have your controller plugged in, go ahead and do that right now. And right here on Handlers, when you click on it, it's going to list all the devices available on this emulator. That is all the controllers. In my case, I have a Xbox controller, so I'm gonna click here on X Input, and it's going to do the configuration for me. You can also play with your keyboard as well. If that's what you want to do, it is also supported as well. And when you're done here, go ahead and click on Save. And at this point, you're ready to start the game. You just have to double click on it and it's going to start. But if you also want to install the mod, I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. This expanded mod for Demon's Souls is available here on Nexus mod, and you're gonna need an account on this website, by the way, to get the mod. So when you get here, first thing you wanna do is create your account around here, and there's some information about the mod down below here. And to get it, you just have to click here on Download menu, select the free option, and download the mod to your PC. I placed the mod files here inside the games folder on the emulator, but it doesn't really matter where you put it. We're gonna have to extract this anyway. And also make sure you have the emulator shut down before you start this, otherwise you're gonna get an arrow inside here. And since this is a zipped file, we're gonna have to extract it, of course. So I'm just gonna double click on it with 7-zip, double click on this folder here, and now we have the mod files. Now the location where they have to be dropped is right here on the game folder of Demon's Souls. Double click here on PS3 game, and this is the place right here. So you just have to extract these files right here, drag and drop them inside this folder like this. When it asks you to replace it, go ahead and click on replace the files in the destination and wait for it to finish. It's going to look like it's about to crash or something like that, but don't worry, that's normal. And there you go, the files are now inside. As such, we can go back to the emulator, and you're gonna notice that the icon has changed here. That means the mod is in place now. So you can finally double click the game, and when you start it for the first time, it's going to compile these PPU modules, but this shouldn't take long. It's going to depend on how strong your CPU is, and you only have to do this once. I have many other tutorial videos like this on the channel, and if you want to directly support me with a donation, the link will be on the description of this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.